Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the cabin. It's me, Coco D, and I am here at the Capron's cabin with the man himself, Corey Capron, to discuss WandaVision episode 6. How's it
Hello.
going, Capron?
It's going well. We have a Halloween episode, and I do love Halloween.
So, as always, starting off, we're on episode 6. Are we still into it?
But of course, I had a nice little called it moment again with the finale. The dome got bigger. But yeah, I expected more answers, and I think you said the same when we were chatting beforehand, than we got this far. But, in some ways that makes our job still viable. If we had all the answers, then there'd be nothing to theorize about. So, I don't know.
Where we left off in episode 5, Pietro from the X-Men universe came to visit.
Peter Evans.
And we are now in the 90s, early 1000s sitcoms, circa Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle, Ally McBeal.
Clarissa Knows It All.
Clarissa Explains It All.
Explains It All.
My personal favorite, The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We'll hook you up. It's good stuff.
The fact that I know Clarissa Explains It All is honestly a fluke. I just happened to see it on TV one time in my life.
Yeah, that's my generation.
Yeah, Malcolm in the Middle is about where I start.
Right on.
So, first of all, we started with that opening. I hated it, and it was the worst opening we've had thus far, and it sounded awful. I can't stand it.
It was the style of the time.
On the bright side, though, the kids got some spotlight.
Yes, it did.
And do you know there's their young Avengers names?
Wiccan and I don't know, Speedy Guns. I forget the other.
It's just Speed and Wiccan.
Okay, Speed and Wiccan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. This was something, and maybe we'll see in the next episode. But a theme has been that the commercials and the previously sections have been inconsistent. They've had things in them that were not in the episodes. Sort of like how movies will get re-edited from the initial trailer, and you'll be like, wait, what happened to everyone in Rogue One being evil?
But Disney's done that before with the Infinity War trailer, where everyone's running and you see Hawk.
Yes. But with these, I feel like it's a little more deliberate. Like, there's more flashbacks to MCU Quicksilver. But one of the things was the big season trailer. And it may just be that we're kind of going from like 90s to early aughts. Like, it may just be that the next episode's going to be a little more like Ally McBeal, which I think of as a 90s show, but I think it spilled over to the aughts. But they had a clip of Wanda facing the fourth wall and talking, as opposed to the kids. We didn't see that in this episode at all. So when I saw that in the trailer, it kind of had me wondering, like, okay, I know the trope, but in this world, who is she talking to? And even though it's not her, I'm still wondering if the kids, who are they talking to? I always like with Malcolm Middle, I always wanted to like that kid to do an SNL hosting episode, and one of the skits to just be him like talking to walls and everybody being freaked out by it. Who are they talking to? Maybe it's just part of the trope, but at the other end, I think that's kind of weird and interesting. And that is all I have to say about that.
All right, so I think with this episode, I'm going to try to do my best to walk through it. So, starting at the beginning. Oh, no, you're good. Just this, because the things that happened this episode.
That wasn't an apology for what I've done. It's what I will probably do.
This one was more linear than the other ones. I feel like, if
was.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we start out with first of all, we see everyone's classic comic book costumes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I said, I've been watching this with Megan, who is not a comic book nerd. So that was one of those things I had to be like, no, it's funny because those are their real costumes.
Yeah, we saw Elizabeth Olsen in the Scarlet Witch costume. That was one of those ongoing things they said would never happen.
So Vision obviously now is not even counting what happens at the end of this episode. Just at the beginning, he makes that snide joke. This was all that was in my closet to wear. So Vision knows what's up, and he ain't happy about it.
Oh yeah, no, he's got an agenda for the night. He's not going to go trick or treating. He's going to go like walk out of town and find out what happens, or he's while she's distracted, he's going to go stir some stuff up.
You have Pietro, who is super fucking sus. Who even Wanda's a bit iffy of, and keeps trying to low key test him.
Mm-hmm.
Then the episode itself is, like you said, all basic Halloween episode.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Capron.
Yes.
The moment we see them trick or treating, what is the very first thing that popped into your head? It's something you mentioned to me.
Something I mentioned. Oh, well, as gets brought up later, children. There are children everywhere.
There are so many children everywhere. It's like my worst nightmare. So during that scene, not only do we see
theater, it's mine too.
We see people and children. Was it on purpose? So obviously, again, Ferb knows that something's up because he tried to ask Wanda if he wanted to change something. So Ferb's back. He wasn't in the last episode.
Right.
So I don't know if this is a 90s sitcom trope or if this was a WandaVision thing.
Okay.
He was saying things before they actually happened.
I noticed that, yeah.
And I didn't know if that was like a sitcom-y trope that was just like that's how sitcoms were, or if that was him like saying what needed to happen in WandaVision.
I think it's three things. It could be three things. It could be a lot of old television was actually you see this mostly with soap operas, but was filmed live. Now not just like live with studio audience, but like it was a one shot you got kind of thing. Like Dark Shadows is really famous for this because there would be scenes where you could see like the walls wobble. They didn't have the budget to do another take, so those weird little set things would happen, and kind of like Evil Dead's overhead lights come into frame every once in a while. So it could be playing a little bit on the trope of you would say something and then it would happen. It could be the joke setup of you tell the thing and you look and now it's happening. Or it could just be that we were supposed to assume that Quicksilver is doing this all over town. And so they're getting the report while he's like, 12 blocks down the way stacking pumpkins. And now they're coming back here and they're doing it here. And now they're going off again. And it's like, oh, what? Now the candy's gone? What do you mean the candy's gone? Oh, nope, now they're here too. I think that might have been the effect they were going for, but it is something to kind of keep in your back pocket and wonder about. Like,
it's one of those things with WandaVision where you don't know if you're ever reading too much into something or if it is exactly what it seems.
This show weaponized theories and Easter eggs and knew going in full well that we were going to do this. And it's,
one of the things that I was doing that with is the fact that, and this is probably completely just because of like film effects and everything, they don't use X-Men speed. They use Marvel speed, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
He
there's no time in a bottle, or I forget what the other song they used was, but yeah, it doesn't
Sweet
go into that.
Dreams are made of these, whatever that song
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I
Sweet
just
Dreams.
watched that scene like right before we started.
Nice.
But yeah, I didn't know if that was just because that's the effects Marvel had, or if that was actually a thing. Again, that's
Um,
just me reading way too much into this damn show.
so here's the thing: the effect that they used in X-Men is not cheap. It
Yeah.
involves usually it involves synchronizing like 100 cameras that are set next to each other so that they all go off a frame at a time. But it's also slow motion, so they're also going off at high speeds. Um, it it's expensive.
It's also that kind of speed is made for big scenes, like one scenes for that
Yeah,
express purpose versus what he was doing.
yeah.
So I think
There were.
that was just a case of me reading too far into it.
I want to lean a little bit towards that with this one, but I think it's the right way to look at that character because there are a lot of deliberate, like, is this X-Men Peter or is this MCU Pietro or the
So
entirely?
going forward, we're not
Uh-huh.
going to jump outside the shield to sword yet. We'll get to them.
Okay, sure.
Um, we get to what I call the big theater scene when they're outside the theater, where you learn that Pietro's super fucking sus. He has the "Where'd you get the children?" line. He has the she asks where his accent went, and he does the "Where's your accent?" which I loved. I love the fact that they brought that up. Um, he has the where he explains how he got there, but he also knows why he's there. He doesn't know why he's there, but he knows the reason for being there, if that makes sense.
So,
He definitely knows more than he's letting off. Because if you I
yeah,
watched that episode 3 times, he never answers her questions.
no,
He throws them
yeah,
back at her.
yeah, which is a very. You see, you went and memed me, so like I'm now like hyper. Don't bring up Mephisto, but it is a very devilish thing to do. Um, turn somebody's thing back at them. I didn't tell you to do this. I only set it up for you to make your own decision. Those kind of like kind of sneaky guidance, lie by omission, um, devil's advocate kind of ways of speaking are all part of a certain kind of devil trope.
I mean, he said a bunch of things that were very Mephisto-ish. Like, A, he kept making a bunch of devil references. And B,
And
the
I know,
whole like
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, like I keep harking to this, but like as much as I realize he did play Quicksilver in X-Men, and that is why he is here. If you are going to have somebody who you think turn into a like demonic evil person, arguably the star of American Horror Story, one of the most reoccurring actors on it at the least, but a lot of people's fan favorite. Having him on set is kind of a neon sign. Like he would make a great Mephisto. You have a guy who has a career of playing like serial killers and demonic demons and like abusive boyfriends and like possessed people, and you put him on your show and you don't expect me to go, maybe he's the bad guy.
He also said some things that made it seem like he was kind of in control. Like when she was like, "Why is your face different?" He's like, "Well, why would you want a memory of the past in like your
Yeah.
perfect paradise?"
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. I say all of that. I'm not sure that he is. Like he might actually be sort of a construct of her brother. Like he might actually be good, but like in the
See,
same way that
the problem with that theory is he has autonomy. Vision didn't even have autonomy at first. He came into this being able to do as he pleased, and Wanda didn't have much control over him.
he also has a soul.
Yeah, that's true.
Vision's a machine. Love him to death.
Arguably, Vision has a soul. That's another thing, though.
Well, it's currently not in his head.
That's fair.
It's been removed. So, yeah, like I hear you, but I still think the rules for him versus Vision could be very different.
That's true. We also have the manifestation of Speed and Wiccan's powers.
Say that again, sorry.
We also got the manifestation of Speed and Wiccan's powers.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Speed is obviously super fast. Wiccan's power, it's magic, I know that, but I never quite understood what he could do.
Right.
In this case, he's cognitive. I don't want to say precognitive, but he's cognitive.
Yeah. Yeah, he can feel things other places. I don't think we saw him do anything telekinetic or, matter rearranging. He wasn't throwing fireballs or anything like that. But when he stopped Speed, his hand did glow. Like he's got like some kind of power to just be like, because that moment when he senses their dad in trouble, Speed runs by him and he just like, it's like Spider-Man in Far From Home with the gun reflex.
God, I love that scene.
Whoop! Nope. Hang on, we need to deal with something. Oh yeah, Spider. Yeah, I love that scene too.
So two of the things, just while we're on the topic of Pietro that you messaged me earlier. Quick answer to: does Mephisto have any ties to dark elves? No.
No. Okay.
As far as I know, he does stuff with Thor a lot and Loki and stuff. As far as I know, he doesn't have any. I mean, he's Mephisto. He's been around for eons. He could have, but as far as I know, in comic book lore, there shouldn't be anything connecting him to the dark elves.
Okay. The reason I was asking that, you can probably guess from the second question I sent you. But it's just, so Thanos, in this timeline, Thanos has been killed before he got all the Infinity Stones. It's not the Thanos that they killed on the farming planet. It's earlier Thanos. The point being is the Reality Stone has gone from under the earth in Thor the Dark World, presumably to the Collector. And I know that Wanda's powers are supposed to come from the Mind Stone, but I swear her powers are looking more and more and more like Reality Stone powers, not Mind Stone powers. From the red glow to what she's actually doing, like to call any of this mind over matter is becoming such a leap, especially when things go in, not to jump over to Sword too quickly, but go into the space and then come out different. If you go in, you're changed. If you come out, you stay changed. That level of reality warping is making me wonder if there's some way that Wanda has gotten or been exposed to the Reality Stone, or to somebody who could currently have it now that Thanos is out of the picture.
The problem is they haven't 100% come out and said if at this point in the MCU, if her powers are solely because of an Infinity Stone.
Right. And
because her mutant power is chaos magic.
Yes. And some things have happened in this episode that kind of raise those questions again. So yeah, that's just kind of the thing I'm wondering about. Like, Pedro does ask her, like, how are you doing all this? Like, for real? And maybe that's a segue into him then going, because you don't remember the deal we made, or or anything like that. It could be something like that where there's another, but I kind of want to take the question literally. How are you doing all this? Because I think that may, more than like a big baddie being revealed at the end of the series, I think that might be the reveal, whether it's mutants or infinity stones or reality warping demonic gods. I don't know, but that's kind of that's all I
Well,
got.
that can kind of tie into where Vision's doing during all this. He's on the outskirts of town, realizing that like a lot of the people on the outskirts of town are immobile.
Mm-hmm.
Which, so we know that for Wanda to do what she's doing, Infinity Stone, mutant power, whatever, is taking an insane amount of energy and power. Like it's even in the comic book world, it's crazy how much power that takes. In fantasy worlds in general, reality warping is one of the most power consuming
Yeah,
moves there is. But what we've noticed is that either she doesn't or she can't control people not in her immediate vicinity.
yeah. No, I mean, like the people on the outskirts, they remind me of like if you ever had a radio control car and it got out of range and you're trying to like control it to get it to roll back to you. Yeah, like once people start to get out of the signal, if she's got complete control over them, they just shut down or they get into this like motion loop where they're, trying to hang their clothes over and over and over again.
See, but then it brings up the question during that scene with Vision's walking at the beginning, there
Uh-huh.
are still people running around the frozen people. And even fast forwarding, when she does her in thing, she makes a carnival where people are moving around and stuff.
Why? Well, we don't know yet what the consequence of her having that power burst is going to be.
True.
Like,
Oh.
who knows? Like, yeah, like she basically just went from like I almost think of it as like, you can like in weightlifting, like you can rep this weight level. She just deadlifted. She just like I don't know what the equivalent for her would be, but like she just like lifted 250 pounds. Now, can
So a
she
Vision
do that? Can she hold it? I don't know. We didn't get that far.
What Vision is, he runs into Agatha,
Yes. Agnes.
Agnes, who might have been low key trying because she tells the kids not to go past Ellis Avenue, which is
Yeah.
exactly where Agnes is.
Uh-huh.
So was she low key trying to escape?
Maybe. Because like looking at the last couple episodes, we've had a couple of interesting things happen with her. She's been like the happy helper person with the kids. Then the kids start acting autonomous, and we get a lot more of her like participating in the fourth wall breaks in the presence of magic. But then one of the kids asks Wanda to bring the dog back to life, and she's like, "You can do that." So some things have changed fundamentally, and now all of a sudden Petro's in. Note we have not had a scene with Agnes and Pietro together. Have we?
Not unless you count the opening sequence.
There was the opening sequence. I will grant you that. But still, the rules have changed a little bit. And if she's just, whether it's Mephisto or whatever, the, assistant, the facilitator, the person who's helping get the plan going, if the plan has changed, she might be trying to hightail it.
True,
Another
but she seems to be on the same level as Herb, as we saw from the episode where the children are born. And
right.
Herb was at the same place as Pietro. And he
I don't.
didn't see much out think much of it at all.
Yeah, I don't think she's at the same level as Herb because we've never seen her glitch, and we've seen Herb glitch. Herb seems to be complacent because he doesn't want more pain.
Herb's glitched. He went through the wall.
No, that's my point. Is Herb has glitched.
Oh.
We've never seen Agnes glitch.
She straight up did.
When?
When Vision wouldn't let her pick up the babies.
That wasn't a glitch. That was her going, "Hey, do you want me to like redo the reality scene?"
That's fair. Yeah, that's true.
There's a big difference between like losing control of your body and like doing and going, "Oh, this illusion isn't working. Do we want to restart the illusion?"
Oh, you also asked if Agnes has a history, or Agatha has
Yeah.
a history of who we thought Agnes was, has a history of possessing people.
Yeah.
As far as I know, she does not. I actually did do the research on that one.
Okay.
From what I could find, she does not have a history of possessing people.
Yeah. This episode left me with a lot of theories. So there was like a ton of stuff I was trying to research, and most of it I kind of like canceled out. But as I was like going along, I was like, okay, I should ask the comic book expert on some of these just to save time. So I was like, I left you with a bunch of the ones that I couldn't like solve by like movies or other references. Yeah, I know, because that was the other thing I was wondering about. Is everyone's like, oh, but she does the witch laugh, and I'm like, could Agatha be inside of Agnes and they be separate people? In some of the way that we were kind of wondering, like, what is the deal with Pietro? Is he real? Is he somebody occupying a Pietro suit?
I mean, Agatha's power is she's a witch. She has magic.
Right.
They can make up magic is one of those things where you can make up the rules.
Yeah.
So it's from what I know of my knowledge, possession is not something she has done. But again, there's tons of comic books I'm sure with her in it. I have not read all of them.
Yeah.
So she might have, but as far as I know, she hasn't. She's not exactly she's not like Doctor Strange where she's gonna go out and put herself in like the situation. She's more of the stay in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, on a scale from Wanda's magic to Constantine magic's, Agatha's in the middle.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm sorry, that's like the best scale I can do. That only works with someone who like knows Constantine's magic.
I know, yeah.
So then we have Agnes's and Vision's whole interaction. Agnes is as scared as everyone else. Vision snaps her back into Wanda's reality, sends her on her way. Vision tries to leave.
Only after she cackles like a scary bitch.
Yeah, that entire scene was fucking terrible.
No, like at first she's scared and she's like, wait, who are you? You're an Avenger. You don't know. Am I dead? Why would you say I'm dead? Because you are. And then like he starts to encourage her and she's like, everything's doomed. So that's why I was wondering about the possession thing. Is it kind of seems like she's three flavors of crazy. There's like Agnes the person, Agnes under Wanda's control, and then also Agatha.
She's going to be interesting to see how she plays out in the future. She definitely has a bigger part than the rest of them. But she goes on her way. Vision tries to break out.
Yeah.
Now, before we get to what happens when he does that, let's rewind and talk about what's happening with Sword. Because fuck that director dude.
Told you he was an asshole.
Oh, fuck him. So
something that I think is pretty well known to most listeners at this point, but we glossed over, I think we should probably acknowledge. A couple episodes back, I think it was episode 3, they showed footage of Wanda breaking in and getting Vision's body.
Yes.
What we didn't comment on, and probably should have, is that the footage showed her, it was an overhead shot of a lab with a bunch of tables. And on the tables was Vision's body parts spread out. They were taking him apart and analyzing them.
Yeah, it
kind of like
I hate myself for not realizing that until rewatching it. He was definitely probably in a Sword facility being studied.
Yeah, he's one of those sentient weapons of this new version of Sword.
which means that 110%, I'll die on this hill. That guy just wants his fucking robot back.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all he's there for.
He is there for his weapon. I want my weapon.
Which is probably what Project Cataract is.
Yeah, I'm wondering about Cataract. Although, at the same time, I love that they started to jump to the end. Like I said, I'm apologizing in advance. But I love the last shot of this episode is a close-up of Wanda's cataracts on fire.
Yes, God, yes.
But we'll jump back now.
So in Sword, basically, Monica, Wu, and Darcy ain't happy with Sword Director. Sword Director kicks him out. Monica and Wu go rogue, figure out that he's sus, take off to go find her friend, which would be awesome if it was Blue Marvel, but it's not. I can promise you it's not Blue Marvel. Because in the comics, Blue Marvel and Monica are like they're a thing. But Darcy stays behind to learn some more. Oh, we learned that Monica Rambeau's blood is fucky, which could be a clue to her becoming Spectrum, which would be chill.
Is she Spectrum or Particle?
Spectrum.
Okay, cool. I get names mixed up.
I mean, yeah, they're pretty similar.
Yeah,
so that could be a clue of Spectrum coming, which would be chill. But what I took from this is that we need a show that's just Wu, Darcy, and Monica Rambeau fucking around the Marvel Universe, learning some shit.
Well, that's why episode 3 is my favorite episode.
I would love that.
Of those at least. You know, but yeah, more Monica too would be great. Also, 4 had a lot of that too, which I was down with. Yeah, I mean, like, there's your agent, Agents of Sword right there. Thank you, please.
They have such great chemistry on screen. It would be great to see them together. And I'm always up for seeing Kat Dennings anywhere. So the last we see of them, Monica and Wu are driving. So Vision pops out of WandaVision. He pops out. But because he's out in our reality or their reality, he's low-key, high-key dead. He starts breaking apart.
It starts pulling him back in.
Yeah, and it's he's coming apart at the literally like coming apart.
Also, I just love how many times can we watch Vision die? Like, all the people that love Vision are just like, don't do this to me.
Even go and watch any cartoon with Vision in it, and he dies like every 3rd episode.
Jesus.
Because he's so powerful. That's how they nerf him. It's like 90s X-Men with Storm.
He's a glass
Storm
cannon.
Is so powerful. Yeah, exactly.
He's a vibranium-coated glass cannon.
I've always hated that because they had that issue with Storm and X-Men. She was so powerful that at the beginning of every episode, something would take Storm out. Vision's trying to pop out. And he's getting torn apart. Then we get Wiccan's powers awakened. He sees his father being torn to shreds and sees the soldiers. And then Wanda goes Super Saiyan.
She went from Elfenlied to Akira.
Damn straight. Yep, straight up. She goes straight up Akira. She expands WandaVision.
Yeah.
A lot. She makes the Sword headquarters a carnival. And she takes my girl Darcy with her.
Okay, so let's talk about the important theories for the future. In the carnival, who will Darcy be? Will she be the lion tamer? Will she be the bearded lady? Will she be the contortionist? Will she be...
I high-key believe that she will know exactly who she is.
You think
I don't know what BS they're going to pull off, but I feel like she's going to retain who she is.
She's going to have some Deadpool powers. Her special ability is to break the 4th wall.
Probably. I don't know. It's going to be something. Like, I don't know. They're going to be like she's had too much exposure to, like, fucking Thor or some shit or what, but...
Her power is lore. She knows TV tropes too well.
So, yeah, this was a jam-packed episode, which is weird because they're all jam-packed. We got Pietro showing up. We got Vision breaking out. We got Wanda going ham. We're down to like 3 sword agents, Wu and Monica Rambeau on the outside. Vision knows what's up. Vision's not happy. Wanda knows Vision knows what's up. Pietro still sus. Like it's crazy. And my biggest issue with this episode, unlike most of the other episodes where we get like a few clues here and there, this episode gave us nothing. Like absolutely nothing. Did we get any answers to anything or nothing but questions? Especially after the past 2 episodes where we've gotten nothing but answers.
We learned. We learned that Wanda may be in control of it all, but she's not consciously in control of it all.
Yeah, we found that out a couple episodes ago.
But like it was actually kind of probed a bit more this time. Like okay, I'm not anybody you have to like. I'm your brother. Like, how are you doing all this? I don't know. That's not her manipulating Vision. That's not her, telling us something. Like, if she was going to not lie to someone, it feels like this would be the person. So we kind of, at this point, do know that we skipped over one huge important thing. The thing that really got me back on my like evil Mephisto or someone else theory. We didn't talk about the commercial.
Fuck the commercial.
So I have a theory about the commercial.
Do tell.
Do you want to go over the commercial or
please? Because I have no idea what to think of it.
Okay, so in the commercial, we have a person who is all alone on an island, feeling so alone, which is what she says is the only thing she can remember to Pietro. And then this big grinning shark, which is why I'm very back and forth from Pietro on what he is. But like one thing that makes me kind of go, yeah, maybe he is Mephisto or somebody else like Mephisto, is the shark comes along and it's got the same kind of grin as Peter. Like you could totally see that shark being voiced by Peter Evans. I'm not saying he was, but like they have similar vibe.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, you just need to eat magic. I feed off magic. That's what all us survivors do. Now, here's my thought. We know this is going to tie into Doctor Strange. What happened in the first Doctor Strange movie?
He trapped Dormammu in a loop.
Yeah. How does Mephisto come to be? Dormammu gets defeated, and the reality of hell gets shattered into splinters, and you have Mephisto, Nightmare, and a bunch of other ones that I'm not enough of a geek to know about.
I was about to bring up Nightmare. I'm glad you did, because I know one of the theories is that Nightmare is behind some of this shit.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think what maybe has happened is when this New Yorker surgeon turned, new wave, I discovered meditation tapes, sorcerer, marched into hell and bitch slapped the Lord of Hell. Whether he was trapped or not, it created a power vacuum because he made Dormammu look like a chump. I think that whether Dormammu fell or is trapped, those other demons trying to survive, they need magic to feed on. And so Nightmare or Mephisto is manipulating Wanda so that they can, like one of those things that latches onto the bellies of whales, can just feed off that energy.
I know one of the theories was that Pietro's actually Nightmare, which I could, considering how many times he mentioned nightmares, I could see, but I don't know if Disney's ballsy enough to bring in a character like Nightmare yet.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is Nightmare is going to be a lot less politically complex. Well, okay. Here's how ballsy they are. Do you know what the plot of Thor: Love and Thunder is? Thor going up against the God Butcher. That guy. The guy that butchers gods.
Okay,
Yeah.
Marvel.
They're bringing that level of dark in this. So,
What's that guy's name? Like Gore or something?
yeah, Gore the God Butcher. Like
God,
that
I
guy.
haven't seen him in anything in a long time.
Yeah, that guy looks like he's like the Marvel equivalent of like the Batman heavy metal Joker, like the teethy, spiky hell thing.
The last time I read a comic with him, Beta Ray Bill and Thor had to take them on together and still almost got the butts kicked.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who wrote it. But like that was the thing was it was written by this comic artist. I can't remember who he was. He was like a hardcore atheist and like the
Oh,
whole
wasn't it
not the comic book.
Aaron something?
Yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, like the whole point was to tell a story about like don't put your faith in gods. That's how Gore the
Jason
God.
Aaron. It was Jason Aaron.
Yeah. So that's the comic that they are drawing from for the next Thor film. You know, they're lighthearted romps. Well, no, they're not lighthearted, but you know what I mean. Taika Waititi. So, no, I think like especially like to me like going Nightmare is even better because then they don't have to deal with the Christian iconography of Mephisto.
That's fair.
Like that one's a softball for them. If they actually went Mephisto, that would be edgy. Even though we keep talking about it, like
Because he's a better known villain than Nightmare.
he is, which might even be a bait and switch they could do. But yeah, no, I think this time, even though every other one has felt like it was either her psyche or a red herring, I think this commercial is worth paying attention to because one, I forget what it's called, like your magic. Oh yeah, yogurt, your magic.
Yeah.
So your magic. If you know, will survive by eating your magic. Keep making magic, Wanda, so we can feed on it and survive.
And drain him completely. Yeah, okay, yeah.
And drain, yeah, the parts on the island they can't access their everything, and so they starve while the sharks just like, yeah, it's all good.
God,
So
and we know this show's gonna get darker because they straight up said it's gonna get darker.
yeah.
Oh, I hate not binge watching shit. I'm a binge watcher. I can't do this. This is stressful. This is my worst nightmare. I hate having to wait week to week. I don't know how you humans do this. I should be done with this series already. Okay, Capron, as always, it is a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
This has been our discussion on WandaVision episode 6. Things just keep getting juicier. Things keep getting more mysterious. We still don't know crap. I'm
Yeah.
tired. I
But
like
hey,
this show. It's such a good show.
oh, you know what? One last thing. I keep bringing up American Horror Story. One of the settings in American Horror Story, and I think this is worth acknowledging just because they made like the Kick-Ass reference with Pietro and the other actor being the star of Kick-Ass. One of the most popular seasons of American Horror Story is American Horror Story Carnival or Circus. So,
Of course it is. Fucking course it is.
yeah, well, because it's got scary clowns. So, next episode is going to involve Peter Evans and a circus.
As always, Capron, it's a pleasure talking to you. We will be back
You
next
as well.
week to discuss WandaVision episode 7. We got what, 3 more episodes left?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it's 3. We're gonna get to get. Fuck words. We're gonna get through this together, everybody.
Well, here's the thing. There's only so many more decades that they can tap into, unless they're going to like bring it to present.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, until next week, Capron, you have a wonderful rest of your life.
You too.